Hello everybody, this is Dave from Dragon Eggs Benedict, once again covering another edition of my Recipes for Disaster character generation series. In this series I'll be covering a character I actually already use in Carl from D20+1's broadcast of Beyond the Horizon. We're on our mid-season break right now. Just having a little bit of a break, but I figured I'd finally get around to making this video about how I created Davren and what his concept was. And I will also be, just like my other video in this series, covering the 6 questions that are great to ask to create any backstory for your character. Now, with Davren, I actually started from a different place than scratch. I had decided that I wanted to create some kind of nature-based class. I wasn't exactly sure what class, and a great place for the nature class that I decided was actually a Dr. Seuss book, The Lorax. At first I wanted to create the Lorax himself, but then I decided to make the Lorax part of the story, but not the entire story. So I wasn't exactly sure where I was going with that, so then I decided to answer these 6 questions that I found on Bacon Battalion's 6 questions to help create a great backstory. I will put that link to that in the description. The first question is, where was he born? Well, the answer to this question is where I really started to build the character's backstory, which leads to a whole bunch of stuff which we'll cover. I decided to have him born in the Xalorson Grove, which was a play off the truffula trees in the Lorax book. I decided to mix up the letters and make it something different. The Xalorson Grove is essentially where the Lorax was in the book, in the Truffula Tree Grove, where all these animals and plants, these fantastic creatures were, before this guy came in and clear-cut the place. Spoiler alert for those that haven't read Dr. Seuss. Anyway, so the Lorax started there, and he didn't have a son or any other character relation other than a little boy that he was telling, that the Onceler was telling the story to. But I decided to insert the character. That's what this character would be. He would be somehow related to the Lorax, and he was born in the Truffula Grove, is what I thought at first. But the next question is, who are the parents, and are they still alive / are there more? Now, this one is interesting. This is when my story started to really develop. I decided that the Lorax wasn't his father, but raised him. He was raised by the Lorax. And the reason why he would be raised by the Lorax is the next question, which is, are they still alive? His parents are dead. I decided that he would be an orphan at an early age, which I know is a cliche, but it works. So he was orphaned as an infant and picked up by the Lorax, or in this case, the Xalor, because I decided to change his name with the letter mix-up, which you'll see is something I'm not very creative, so I do that a lot. So the Xalor, in this case, picked him up and raised him among all these fantastic creatures and plants and all these crazy things in the Xalorson Grove. I left the question, are there more, up to Carl. I didn't think he was going to do anything with it. I didn't really know. I also answered the question, are they still alive, with the Xalor, by having although I never talked about his death, I have his grave in my backstory in the beginning of our session 0. By the way, go check out Beyond the Horizon. I'll link section 0 in this as well. Try not to spoil too much of it, but this is a character development piece, so you're going to find out more about this character before the end of this video. Like I said, I left Are There More kind of open to Carl, which is kind of a big part of this. All of this process, you should kind of at least leave some of these questions somewhat open for your DM to influence and change because then you'll be finding these cool things about your own character while you're telling the story, which is great. And the excellent essence of this crazy like plot twist that can happen that you didn't see coming about your own character. It's a fantastic thing to do. I have experienced it firsthand, and it is excellent. What was he doing before is the next question. He was living happily. We covered that a little bit in one of the sessions. He actually got a flashback, and it was cool to develop that part a little bit more, because all I really thought about was doing before is his life was happy and great. I needed to be happy and great because he needed a reason, which is totally the next question. He needed a reason to leave. He needed a reason to be upset. So why, the next question of all these is, why leave it all? Why did he stop doing just a regular casual life, and why did he become an adventurer? Well, in his story, this Damien Twiceroy, which is of course wordplay off of the once Lur, Damien Twiceroy clear cut the Louch Grove, removed his home from existence, and supposedly killed the Xalor. Although, like I said, we haven't talked about his death. We just showed his grave. So make of that what you will. I think he's dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead. I'll go on record. He's dead. But I don't really know. Davren, like I said, Davren may have seen him dead. He may not have. We haven't established that canon. So I'm leaving it technically up to Carl. But I'm calling it the Xalor is totally dead. So why did he leave? Because he had nowhere else to go. He needed to go somewhere, and he didn't know what to do. So that also leads to a little bit more of Session 0, and he gets a little help on direction. I'll put it that way. I don't want to spoil that cool moment, but he gets some help, and he eventually becomes a paladin, although he doesn't know what that is because he has no role model for being a paladin. He only has a role model for love of nature and life that he got from the Xalor, but the Xalor is gone, so he no longer has anyone to provide a compass for him, so he kind of has to be his own compass, which is kind of where I believe a first of an order paladin should be. He should be figuring things out himself, and then people start following him. The illusion I like, or the picture I like to have is someone used to be on a road, but the road stops. And so a paladin that's the first of their order would be the guy in the front with the machete cutting through the forest, and other people just start to fall in behind him, and that's how a church is born, in my opinion. What did they leave behind? With him, it was a lot, because he was because his entire community was removed. Some of them went to another plane of existence just to escape, just like in the book, how they leave as the clear cutting is happening, as the environment's being destroyed. The animals leave in the Lorax. So it was with the Louch Grove. So all these animals left, and his best friend Poplo, which was a giant dire wolf type creature, also was left behind. So they got separated, and he has been heartbroken about that. He's actually tried to get a message to Poplo in some way or shape or form through this strange help he's getting from a deity, but he has no luck so far. That's one big thing he left behind. Basically, all his friends and family, all the animals are gone. His whole home, he has nothing besides the memento he was given, and that's basically it. That's why he latches onto people pretty quickly, because he has no one. So then it goes to the last question, which is, what does the character want? This is an interesting question for him, because he doesn't really know too much about what he wants, but I needed to give him some aim, so I decided to give his aim as vengeance is his primary goal, because he's upset, he's angry, he's young, he thinks it'll make a big difference to get vengeance, and he thinks he can do it. He doesn't understand his own strength or lack thereof. So he wants to kill Damien Twiceroy, which plays a huge deal in almost all of his actions pretty quickly. In the series, which you guys, I really think we told some interesting stories together, and it would be really cool if you guys could check those out. I liked them. I enjoyed making the stories with Carl and Corey and Brittany. So, just like I said, it would be really cool if you guys check it out. Oh, and Mark. I almost forgot Mark. I'm a terrible person. Yeah. Mark, Corey, Brittany, Carl, all of us work together to make a great story. That's what D&D is really all about, so I think you guys should check it out. Again, what the character wants, he wants to kill Damien Twiceroy, but he also wants to unlock the mysterious memento he has, which he knows there's something inside of it, but he can't seem to get it open. And he also has a longing for a home. He doesn't have a home anymore, so he kind of wants a home as well. But it kind of that need kind of takes a back burner to his obsession with killing Damien Twiceroy, or at least making his life difficult in every way, shape, or form. So that's where that comes into play. Though those are all the 6/7 questions that make a great character backstory. I'm really happy with the way that Davren's turned out. By the way, another big hint here, Davren, my name is Dave. I just added 2 letters to my own name to make this character. So there you go. Sometimes character names are surprisingly dumb, but they work. I like Davren's name. I think it's funny that that's all I needed to do, and it is totally a Game of Thrones hint right there. Okay, that covers all the character stuff I did for him. Again, check out Beyond the Horizon. It's a pretty cool game. I really like playing it with Carl, and again, we'll be starting that up in January-February time frame, so check us out. Really fun. So this is my character creation. This is how I created Davren. Until next time, eat more eggs.